What's up, guys? So, today I want to talk to you about who I think the two biggest contenders are going to be for Game of the Year this year. Now, in my opinion, I think it's going to be between GTA 6 and Crimson Desert. Now, I know that's crazy to say when we are only halfway through the year and we still have the other half of the year to go with more new games coming out. And sure, I believe there are a couple strong contenders for the remainder of this year that still haven't, released, but I don't really see anyone other than those two really, really, truly competing for Game of the Year. Maybe there are some prizes on the horizon. I'm definitely not going to put a game in there that's a remake like Black Flag, Assassin's Creed. I think that's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be more of what we had from the original release and, more things that are like fine tuned. I'm not doing remakes. I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, I think it's truly going to come down to Crimson Desert and GTA 6. And if you could only pick between those two games, if they were your only options, which one would you pick? I know that's crazy to ask because GTA 6 hasn't even released yet, and we already have Crimson Desert. So, look, take this with a grain of salt, but I'm telling you right now, I believe that that's what it's going to be. It's going to be these two games. I'm going to say the unpopular opinion, which I think I'm going to be in the minority with, but I truly believe that Crimson Desert deserves to be the game of the year. And I will explain why. This is not a knock by any means on Rockstar or GTA 6. The game hasn't even released yet, and I can almost guarantee it's going to be a masterpiece. Rockstar just cranks out masterpieces. That's what they do. They are truly in a league of their own. It's so much so that other games are changing their release date because they don't want to release close to GTA 6. That is crazy to me. It's like it's the boogeyman to other game developers, and they're just like holding back their release dates or changing them because they're afraid to compete with GTA 6. And look, I get it. That's a hot game. That's on a lot of people's wish list. A lot of people want to get their hands on GTA 6, and if they're only able to scrounge up enough money to buy one game in a few months, more than likely they're going to skip other games and spend their money on GTA 6. So from a business standpoint, I get that strategy. GTA 6 is going to be a powerhouse. I have no doubt. But I do want to say this. I think wholeheartedly that Crimson Desert should be the game of the year. And I'm going to list a few reasons why. I got my little sheet here. I want to talk about GTA and Rockstar. They do a phenomenal job of creating immersive worlds with fun gameplay that keeps you addicted to their game and wanting to play, and it immerses you in their world. They're fantastic at that. They have cornered that market. They have mastered it. They have it to a T. It's a science to them. They're great. From games like Red Dead Redemption and GTA 5. I mean, this is their wheelhouse. They specialize in this. And it takes a while for their games to come out because, man, they are fine-tuning. They are getting everything to the T. I have no doubt this game will be stellar. It'll be utterly fantastic. Here is where I think Crimson Desert separates from GTA 6. And hear me out. So don't get your pitchforks and torches ready just yet. GTA 6, at the end of the day, after its single player campaign, I guarantee you when the multiplayer releases, it will be more of the same. You will have microtransactions. You will have things set up where it is so grindy, it is so frustrating, it is so aggravating. Certain things will be locked behind real world money that you will have to pay to unlock features for the multiplayer side of this game. Now, if you are only picking up GTA 6 to play it as a single player game, you may be able to avoid all of this. It may be a non-issue for you. But here's the thing. Rockstar is the master at making microtransactions to the point where people are willing to shell out tons and tons of money and throw it into this game. And I'm not saying that's neither a negative or a positive, it's just what they do. Making money is their business, and they're good at it. They create fantastic games, and it's great. But here's the thing. Certain things I think they tweak to make it harder for the gamer to acquire if you're not trying to shell out a little bit of cash every now and then. I don't think it demands it all the time. It is by no means a predatory, like, free to play game, but it's odd that you're paying full price for a game, and now with the release of the prices that they've shown for GTA 6, you're already paying a little bit above standard pricing for the base edition of the game. So keep that in mind when you know later down the line they are going to come at you with microtransactions and gameplay that is set to funnel you to want to continue to spend money in the game. Now, if this is the only game that you're playing, if this is the only game you're looking forward to, you are probably going to have no problem shelling out money to this game. You're probably looking forward to it, and that is fine. That's perfect. But if you are a gamer who games across several different games, maybe across several different genres, your money will have more value in Crimson Desert. And I say that because Crimson Desert has already shown so far they have given free updates. They're not really locking anything behind any paywalls. They've announced that they don't want to have microtransactions in their games. They're talking even about free DLC and free expansions to the game that will be just added to the base game. With that being said, I know people have seen it in the past. You can pick up GTA 5 for like $20, 15 or 10 on a sale depending if you can catch it at the right time. I, however, do not think that Crimson Desert will ever drop too far below its retail price, and that's because it is a one-time purchase. You have paid for the game, and everything in the game will become available to you, whether you grind for it, or it's locked behind an event, or something that you just have to complete to obtain it. To me, this is more gamer focused. This is more centered toward gamers, and it is more beneficial towards gamers than the practice that you will find that GTA 6 is going to roll out, mostly when it comes to their multiplayer aspects. But it is hard not to compare those two. One game releases for the one-time full price that you pay for it, whether you get the deluxe edition or the standard edition, that's what you pay. You get everything in that package, and you don't pay again. From what they're saying up to this date, anything can change. We've seen that happen many times in gaming, where you're behind a company's set of standards, and then they change them. For example, PlayStation talking about now they're going to try to phase out physical discs. So anything can change. But as of this moment that I'm making this video, Crimson Desert remains a one-time purchase. You pay your hard-earned money, you get the game. And then it's up to you to go within that game and unlock the things that you want and play the game that you want to play. GTA 6 will not be like this. We have seen examples from it in the same games in the past, whether it's GTA 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2. It funnels your online players into a microtransaction, space. You're paying for gold in Red Dead Redemption 2. You're getting shark cards in GTA 5. It's phenomenal at funneling people into spending more money. Again, most things are doable without ever spending an additional dollar, but certain things are locked behind real-world money. And that's crazy to me, because I feel like sometimes they tweak the gameplay in order to make it just frustrating, just stressful, just grindy enough to make you want to, open up your wallets and spend more on the game, even after paying now what is more than the standard full price for games. So keep that in mind. That is just the pricing section. That is just the quality that you're getting, what your value is for each of these games. And that is, to me, a clear win for Crimson Desert. Now, if you want to talk about the story experience, GTA 6 is going to dominate. Hands down, Crimson Desert is not even known for its story. A lot of people were saying it's a bad story. I disagree with that. I don't think it was a bad story, but it's nothing to write home about. It's not like your Red Dead Redemption 2 or your God of War or your Uncharted or your Gears of War. It is not story focused. The story's there and the story is fine. It's passable. It's decent. It is not horrible, and it is by no means a standout part of the game. But here's the funny thing. Pearl Abyss was talking about tweaking the story for Crimson Desert, going back and trying to actually change it and update it and make it more in line with what gamers are wanting. That is crazy to me. Has any other game ever done that? I mean, to my knowledge, off the top of my head, I can't think of one. No Man's Sky continued to give support to its game and change certain campaign modes for it and story modes and stuff like that, but I don't think it's going to be the extent that Crimson Desert will be doing it. So, I say that to say this. Even if Crimson Desert gets an updated story, I don't think it's going to come anywhere close to the cinematic experience, to the masterpiece of storytelling that is Rockstar and GTA 6. The game's not even out yet. I can almost guarantee the story's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. But after you have experienced the story, is that going to be enough to still hold your enjoyment in the game? With me, and this is only my experience, this is only something I can speak firsthand to for me. When I am done playing the campaign of a Rockstar game, whether it's Red Dead Redemption 2 or GTA 5, the single player becomes an afterthought to me. I spend most of my time then trying to do things in multiplayer, even if it's a grind, even if it's tedious. That's where I try to spend the rest of my time, because it is a new, fresh experience. But every now and then, I will jump back into the campaign, back into the finished story mode, and play with the characters that are a part of it. And it is fun, but only for a little bit. It is in short bursts, small doses. Crimson Desert is a game I can come back to and inject several hours of my time into it. And then, not to mention, if you take time off of playing Crimson Desert, they've shown it just in the past little bit that it's been out. The game is changing. It is evolving constantly. The amount of support that they are showing for this game is mind-blowing to me. The dedication to their fan base, to this game that they have, that the developers have, it's truly amazing. It needs to be applauded. It needs to be recognized. It is phenomenal. When it comes to that kind of support, it is a clear victory for Crimson Desert. These have all been free updates. Well, going back, I should say. Story, it goes to GTA 6. But my point with that is, how big of a chunk of Game of the Year do you think that should be worth a great story? You experience it for the first time, one time only. That's it. And now, granted, that's not to say that should be small potatoes or it shouldn't mean anything, but for the continued play of a game, for the continued enjoyment after beating the campaign, I think that has to rest on like the support that a game is given. The single player in Crimson Desert is constantly being injected with new life, new items, new weapons, new abilities, new pets, new mounts. It's crazy to me. It's an MMO. It might as well be an MMO, just single player. I know that sounds weird. It's an MMO game just in single player mode, and it is amazing. And it's also a game I don't want to see get co-op or multiplayer, and I know I'm in the very, very, very slim minority for that. But that's for another video at another time. But anyway, I think support for single player parts of these games obviously is going to go toward Crimson Desert. It's phenomenal. Another thing that I wanted to talk about. When GTA 6 releases, it will be shortly before the Game Awards. I think that star power or rockstar power, brand recognition, and recency bias will play a huge factor in people determining whether or not it'll be Game of the Year. You have to think, when did Crimson Desert released? Right at the front of the year, like was it March or April? Somewhere in there. It released early. By this time, several months would have gone by, and I don't know how many people will have the game at the forefront of their mind. So it will have to compete with Rockstar releasing just before the Game Awards. And that's an uphill battle for sure. Because just that alone, the brand recognition of GTA 6, the star power, like the abilities that Rockstar has to like make a game stand out, and the fact that it's going to be so close to the Game Awards, that recency bias, whether people realize it or not, that's definitely going to play a factor. Now, that is not to take anything away from the experience that you will have playing the game, because I'm sure that will be fantastic. I'm sure it will be amazing. And who knows? By the time that game comes out, my tune might have completely changed. I might be fully on board with GTA 6 just rocking Crimson Desert, but I doubt it. And it's for some of the reasons that I've already talked about. Now, GTA 6, you have a ton of different things that you'll be able to do. I'm sure it's just going to be like GTA 5, but on steroids. There's going to be other side activities. There's the driving part. There's, different quests and shops and gunplay and interactions, and you're going to feel like you're alive inside of that world and immersed, and it's going to draw you in. It's going to be great. When we talk about Crimson Desert, though, I think it has such a broader set of things that you are able to do in Crimson Desert. There is cooking, there is crafting, there is taming pets, there is taming mounts, there is, quests and hidden treasures, there is combat. And the combat in Crimson Desert is superb. It is outstanding. Yes, the controls can be wonky and wild and convoluted and complicated, but when you have mastered that system, there is nothing like pulling off a combo, a chain of attacks from, clawing someone to you, slamming them into the ground, melee, using your sword, casting like a magical ability on top of your weapon to add fire damage or lightning damage. It feels insanely satisfying to the point where it's almost addicting, where you crave combat. And luckily, going back to the support, with one of their updates, they allowed strongholds to be retaken because they will be repopulated by the enemy, and you can choose the frequency at which that happens. So you can have a game where you're just experiencing almost constant combat. That is phenomenal. That is a developer, that is a studio that listens to what gamers want and implements it into their game and doesn't hide that behind a paywall and doesn't ask for more of the gamer. This is why I say I think Crimson Desert is a love letter to fans. I said it last year about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I am saying it this year about Crimson Desert. And by now, if you can't tell, this is my fucking campaign speech for Crimson Desert. I truly, truly, truly believe it deserves to have your vote for Game of the Year. And I know that is crazy to say when GTA 6 hasn't even come out yet. So I get it. I know what that's like. I know I get it. I really, really do. But I think that the signs should be obvious. If they're not, I'm happy to keep spouting about them. But it's just something that Crimson Desert does that we haven't seen in gaming in a long time. And it's so rare. We see it with a few games. We see it with a few studios. But this has just been a phenomenal showing by Pearl Abyss, by Crimson Desert. the game is vast. People have spent hundreds of hours in the game, and they haven't even left the first area. That's how immersive this game can be. They haven't even completed the rest of the story. They're just doing side quests and missions, and they're creating their own adventures. It is a game that is a true sandbox. Do what you want, create the adventure you want, immerse yourself in whatever you find to be fun at the time. I mean, it's insane to me how I see some people hating on Crimson Desert. At this point, I believe the people who are truly hating on Crimson Desert are just a few sets of people. One, you've either never played the game, so you don't understand. Two, you're not going to play the game because you have no desire, because the game is just something that you're not interested in, and the genre might be something you're not interested in. Or three, you're a person who has played the game right when it launched. It was complicated and convoluted, and there might not have been a lot of like community support to really help you get through the game, and that would probably leave a sour taste in people's mouths. I get it. And then you might be the rare person who actually dedicated a lot of time, tried to play it, and couldn't enjoy it. But I feel like a lot of people fall into like the first three camps of people where they're just hating on Crimson Desert. And I get it. If it's not your game, if it didn't tickle your fancy, nothing I say will convince you, because it's just not a game for you, and I totally understand that. But we have to give it the credit that it deserves, and we have to give it the props that it's earned, because I feel like with the support, you talk about games like Cyberpunk, you talk about games like No Man's Sky. These games were considered awful launches, terrible releases, and the companies over time took a while to come back and fix their product. Immediately after the release of Crimson Desert, we saw several updates occur within just the first couple of weeks that completely revamped certain aspects of the game. It made the game more enjoyable, more streamlined, more fun. It was things that they tackled head on right away. It wasn't like, you waited 6 months and got this giant update that fixed a few things, but some things were still left broken, and you have to wait for another month or two life cycle before you got another update. That's insane to me, the way that they were quick to be on top of it, quick to show continuous, consistent support, good support, not just adding random things to the game just for the sake of it and, possibly breaking the experience. It's been in line with the vibe of the game. It has kept its core intact. It is still Crimson Desert, whether you've played it on day one or today when you pick it up, or when you pick it up into the future. I guarantee you, it'll feel like Crimson Desert, but it'll just feel like a better Crimson Desert. So I gotta say, this has been long-winded. It's been me just being redundant at this point, but I am not trying to sell GTA 6 short. I don't want anybody to think this video is about hate for GTA 6. I know I've seen people online talking about, they're locking certain shops behind a paywall, behind, a special edition or a deluxe edition. Even Crimson Desert, I think, is guilty of that, because they have a deluxe edition that gives you items that you couldn't get unless you purchased the deluxe edition. So, I think a lot of games are guilty of that. I know it's big for people when they're talking about, okay, well, GTA 6 is going to release and it doesn't have a physical disc. It's just going to be a box with a game code inside of it. Okay, that's a valid point. I totally get that. However, on the other hand, Crimson Desert releases, it's got a physical disc. You can buy a physical copy. So all those points, I get them. They're valid. But I'm just talking about once you get past the initial parts of these games, the actual playing of the game, that should determine what game of the year is. And I wholeheartedly believe it should be Crimson Desert. I know I feel like I'm going on a campaign run for Crimson Desert, but that's just me showing my support and my love for the game and for the developers. And again, I think Rockstar is going to crank out yet another masterpiece. It's so funny to me when they're dropping a game and other developers are like so scared. It's like the boogeyman's come to town and they're like, we got to get out of the way. So that's funny to me. That's hilarious. But everybody knows they're about to drop the heat. They're about to bring another masterpiece to the table. And if I was a business, I wouldn't want to directly compete with that either. So I totally get that. But Crimson Desert releases at the beginning of the year. GTA 6 releases at the end. So GTA 6 obviously has the upper hand advantage there. It's going to be some recency bias. People are going to be fresh playing it, and they're, look, I get that. I want to know, am I talking out of my ass? Am I just talking shit? Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments. If you only could pick between those two, who would you pick and why? I want to know. I'm so curious about this topic because to me, this is one of those things that I find so interesting. Super interesting because you're putting a great game up against what is going to be another great game. I mean, you've got two awesome selections here. I'm not counting out the rest of the releases coming out, at the second half of this year. But if you just had to just keep it between these two, just a simple versus, who would win? Who gets to be the game of the year? You already clearly know my opinion. I'm going Crimson Desert. Let me know yours in the comments below. And if you stuck around this long to listen to me go on my long-winded, rant and rave about this, go ahead, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a like. Let me know your opinion. I want to hear it. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Peace.